Y'all know how it is. Life gets busy. Work, family, that never-ending to-do list. It feels like you're running a race you just can't win. And in all that chaos, it's easy to lose sight of what really matters, to feel disconnected, like you're drifting further and further away from God. I've been there, stuck in that rut, feeling lost and alone. The weight of the world felt like it was on my shoulders, and frankly, I was tired, exhausted, just plain worn out. I knew I couldn't keep going like that. Something had to change. I was searching for something, anything to fill that void, that emptiness inside me. Tried all the usual suspects, you know. Worked longer hours, chased after distractions, tried to outrun the feeling that something was missing. But nothing worked. It was like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in the bottom. One morning, I woke up feeling completely defeated. I stumbled into the kitchen, poured myself a cup of coffee, and just sat there in silence. And that's when I saw it. A verse from the Bible my mama used to quote all the time. Matthew 11:28, "Come to me all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Now, I'd heard that verse 1,000 times before, but that morning it was like I was hearing it for the first time. Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. The words just jumped off the page and grabbed me by the heartstrings. Y'all, I felt like Jesus himself was talking directly to me, offering a lifeline in the middle of a stormy sea. But then, that old familiar doubt crept in. Me? You want me to come to you? But I'm a mess, Lord. I'm tired, I'm stressed, I don't even know if I remember how to pray anymore. It felt like all the times I'd let God down, all the mistakes I'd made were piled up like a mountain between us. How could he possibly want anything to do with someone like me? But then I remembered something else Mama used to say. Even a tiny seed of faith can move mountains. So I decided to take a chance, a leap of faith. It wouldn't be easy, I knew that. Old habits die hard, and I was a pro at running away from God. But I figured even if I started small, just a little bit each day, maybe, just maybe, I could find my way back. No grand pronouncements, no signing up for a 10-day spiritual boot camp. Just me, God, and a commitment to spend a few minutes with him every single day. It wasn't about checking a box or earning brownie points. It was about carving out a space in my crazy life for the one who mattered most. Now, I ain't gonna lie, y'all. Life can be a whirlwind, and finding time for anything new can feel like an uphill battle. Starting anything new is tough. Whether it's a new exercise routine, a new job, or even a new hobby, the beginning is always the hardest part. And committing to time with God every day, well, that's a whole different kind of challenge. It's not just about finding the time, it's about making the time. Well, let's just say that old devil wasn't too keen on the idea. Every time I tried to carve out a moment for prayer or reflection, distractions seemed to pop up out of nowhere. Seemed like every time I even thought about opening my Bible, the phone would ring, or some urgent task would demand my attention. The dog would need walking, and it wasn't just the dog. It felt like everything around me needed my immediate attention, or a sink full of dishes would magically appear. It was as if the universe conspired to keep me from those precious moments of peace. But I made myself a promise. Just 5 minutes. 5 minutes to sit down, breathe, and be present with the Lord. It didn't seem like much, but it was a start. 5 measly minutes to sit down and be present with the Lord. That's it. No pressure, no expectations. Just a small, manageable commitment to start my day on the right foot. Just 5 minutes of quiet time to breathe and let God into my day. And you know what? Those 5 minutes started to make a difference. They became a sanctuary, a moment of calm in the chaos. Over time, those 5 minutes grew. They became 10, then 15. It wasn't about the length of time, but the quality of the connection. I found myself looking forward to those moments, craving that peace. I started journaling my thoughts, reflecting on my day, and seeking guidance. It became a habit, a cherished part of my routine. And the more I committed to it, the more I felt its impact on my life. I noticed changes in my attitude, my relationships, and my overall sense of well-being. I was more patient, more understanding, and more present in my interactions with others. Even the little things, like a walk in the park or a quiet moment of reflection, took on new meaning. I began to see the beauty in the everyday, the divine in the mundane. Creating a peaceful space for myself, even if just for a few minutes, became a priority. It was a way to recharge, to reconnect, and to remind myself of what truly mattered. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, if life seems too hectic, remember the 5-minute promise. It's not about the time, it's about the intention. It's about giving yourself permission to pause, to breathe, and to be present. Those 5 minutes can be a lifeline, a beacon of hope in a busy world. They can ground you, center you, and bring you closer to the divine. So take that first step. Make that promise to yourself. 5 minutes, just 5 minutes, and watch how it transforms your day, your life, and your relationship with God. The 5-minute promise is a small commitment with a big impact. It's a reminder that even in the busiest of days, there's always time to connect with what truly matters. So go ahead, make that promise. You won't regret it. First hurdle, waking up before the rooster crowed. See, I'm not exactly what you'd call a morning person. Give me a pot of coffee and a good dose of sunshine before you ask me to do any heavy thinking. But I knew if I wanted to make this daily devotion thing stick, I had to find a time when the world was quiet, before the hustle and bustle of the day swept me away. So I set my alarm a little earlier each day, and I started treating those 5 minutes like a date. Not a stuffy formal affair, mind you, more like grabbing a cup of coffee with an old friend. I'd find a comfy spot, open up my Bible, and just listen. Sometimes I'd read a passage that spoke to me. Other times I'd just sit in silence and let God's presence fill the room. Now I know what you're thinking, but Max, what about prayer? Don't you talk to God during your quiet time? And to that I say, bless your heart, of course I do. But here's the thing, prayer ain't always about spouting off a laundry list of requests. Sometimes it's about sitting in the silence and letting God speak to your heart. Those first few weeks, I mostly just listened. I figured God had a lot to say, and I'd do well to hush up and pay attention. And you know what? He did. Not in a booming voice from the heavens, mind you, but in those quiet whispers of wisdom and guidance that I'd been missing all along. The more time I spent with God, the more I realized just how much I'd been carrying on my own. All those burdens, those worries, those fears, He was ready and willing to take them from me. All I had to do was ask. Now, I ain't gonna sit here and tell you that everything changed overnight. Life is a journey, and sometimes it feels like you're walking through a dense fog, unable to see more than a few steps ahead. You stumble, you fall, and you get back up again. It's a process, a slow and often painful one. But every now and then, something shifts, and you start to see things differently. Life still had its share of curveballs and potholes. There were days when it felt like the weight of the world was pressing down on my shoulders, and nights when sleep was a distant memory. Challenges came in all shapes and sizes, from the mundane to the monumental. But something was different. It wasn't that the problems disappeared. They were still there, as real and as daunting as ever. But my perspective had changed. It was like I'd put on a new pair of glasses. Not just any glasses, but ones that allowed me to see the world in a way I never had before. It was as if a veil had been lifted and everything came into sharper focus. The colors were more vibrant, the details more intricate. I could see the beauty in the mundane, the extraordinary in the ordinary. The world looked the same, but I saw it with new eyes. Eyes that were no longer clouded by doubt and fear, but clear and full of hope. I began to notice things I'd overlooked before, like the way the sunlight filtered through the leaves of a tree, casting a dappled pattern on the ground, or the way a stranger's smile could brighten my day. It was as if I had been given a second chance to experience life in all its fullness. eyes that were open to God's presence in every little thing. I started to see His hand in the everyday moments, the small miracles that often go unnoticed. In the quiet of the morning, as I sipped my coffee and watched the world wake up, I felt His presence. In the laughter of my grandkids, I heard His joy. In the stillness of the night, I sensed His peace. It was a profound realization, one that filled me with a deep sense of gratitude and awe. The sunrise over the back pasture. It was a sight I had seen countless times before, but now it felt different. The colors seemed more vivid, the light more radiant. It was as if the world was being bathed in a golden glow, a reminder of the beauty and wonder of creation. Each sunrise became a symbol of new beginnings, a chance to start afresh and embrace the day with renewed hope and enthusiasm. The laughter of my grandkids, their giggles and squeals of delight were like music to my ears, a sweet symphony that lifted my spirits and warmed my heart. Watching them play, I was reminded of the simple joys of childhood, the innocence and wonder that we often lose as we grow older. Their laughter was a reminder to find joy in the little things, to cherish the moments of happiness and hold them close. Even the way the rain made the grass smell so fresh and clean. It was a scent that brought back memories of my own childhood, of playing in the rain and feeling the cool drops on my skin. The rain was a reminder of the cycles of life, of growth and renewal. It washed away the dust and grime, leaving everything looking fresh and new. It was a symbol of cleansing, of letting go of the past and embracing the present. It was like God was saying, "See, child, I've been here all along." In the moments of joy and in the times of sorrow, in the laughter and in the tears, He was there. His presence was a constant, a source of comfort and strength. It was a reminder that I was never alone, that no matter what challenges I faced, He was with me, guiding me, supporting me, and loving me unconditionally. I've been here all along. Through the highs and the lows, the triumphs and the trials, He was there. His love was a steady anchor, holding me firm even in the stormiest of seas. It was a love that transcended all understanding, a love that was patient and kind, a love that never failed. Knowing this gave me a sense of peace and assurance, a confidence that no matter what the future held, I could face it with courage and faith. Right here with you, through thick and thin. In the moments of doubt and in the times of certainty, in the struggles and in the victories, He was there. His presence was a beacon of light, guiding me through the darkest of nights. It was a reminder that I was never alone, that I was loved and cherished, and that I had the strength to overcome any obstacle. With this new perspective, I felt a renewed sense of purpose and determination, ready to face whatever life had in store. From anxious to amen. And that anxiety? It was like a shadow that followed me everywhere, a constant companion that I never invited. It crept into my thoughts, my dreams, and even my moments of joy. Always lurking, always waiting to pounce. That constant worry that used to gnaw at me like a hungry hound dog. It was relentless, never giving me a moment's peace. It felt like I was carrying a heavy weight on my shoulders, a burden that I couldn't shake off no matter how hard I tried. Every little thing seemed to trigger it, from the smallest inconvenience to the biggest life changes. Well, it started to loosen its grip. Slowly but surely, I began to feel a sense of relief. It wasn't an overnight transformation, but rather a gradual process. I started to notice moments of calm, fleeting at first, but growing longer and more frequent. It was like the clouds were parting, letting rays of sunshine break through. Don't get me wrong, I still had my moments. There were days when the anxiety would come rushing back, stronger than ever. But those moments became less frequent, and I learned to manage them better. I realized that it was okay to have bad days, that it didn't mean I was failing. It was just part of the journey. But now, I had a secret weapon, something that gave me strength and comfort when I needed it the most. It wasn't a magic cure, but it was powerful nonetheless. It was my faith, my belief that there was something greater than myself, something that could help me through the toughest times. When those anxious thoughts came knocking, I'd turn to God. I'd close my eyes, take a deep breath and pray. It was a simple act, but it made a world of difference. It was like opening a door to a place of peace and tranquility, a sanctuary where I could find solace and strength. I'd hand over my worries to Him, like a child handing a fistful of dandelions to their daddy. And you know what? It was liberating. It felt like I was letting go of a heavy burden, trusting that it would be taken care of. It was an act of faith, a way of saying, I can't do this on my own, but I know you can. He never turned me away. No matter how many times I came to him, no matter how big or small my worries were, he was always there. It was a comforting thought, knowing that I had someone to turn to, someone who would listen and understand. He always took those worries, those fears, and replaced them with something better. Peace, hope. It was like a gentle whisper, a reminder that everything would be okay. It didn't mean that my problems disappeared, but it gave me the strength to face them. It was a source of comfort, a beacon of light in the darkest of times, a gentle reminder that I wasn't alone in this journey. There were others who understood, who had been through similar struggles, and most importantly, there was a higher power watching over me, guiding me, and giving me the strength to keep going. It was a journey from anxious to amen, a transformation that changed my life in ways I never imagined. And speaking of journeys, y'all know I'm a talker. So naturally, I started sharing my experience with anyone who'd listen. Turns out, I wasn't the only one craving that connection with God. Before long, a few folks from church started joining me for our own little 5-minute club. We'd gather once a week, share what we were learning, and encourage each other on our faith walks. And you know what they say, goodness is like grits. It's hard to get enough of it. The more we shared our faith, the more it grew. And pretty soon, that little 5-minute club turned into a full-blown support system. We were there for each other through thick and thin, praying for one another, lifting each other up and reminding each other that we weren't alone in this journey. It was a beautiful thing, y'all. Just a bunch of flawed, messy humans coming together to seek something bigger than themselves. Now, I know what you might be thinking, Max. This daily devotion thing sounds like a lot of work, like just another thing to add to my already overflowing plate. But here's the thing. It's not about adding something to your plate. It's about making room for what truly matters. It's not about checking off a box or following a set of rules. It's about cultivating a relationship. A real honest-to-goodness relationship with the one who loves you more than words can say. Look, I get it. Life's a rodeo. We're all just trying to hold on tight and make it to the 8-second whistle. But here's the thing. You don't have to be a spiritual giant to make time for God. Just start small. 5 minutes, that's it. 5 minutes to breathe. 5 minutes to listen. 5 minutes to say, hey God, it's me again. I need you. You can find 5 minutes in your day, I promise. Maybe it's before the rooster crows, or while the coffee's brewing, or even while you're stuck in traffic on the way to work. Now, I ain't gonna tell you how to have your coffee with the Lord. Some folks like theirs black as midnight, others like it sweet as pecan pie. Same goes for devotionals. Find what works for you. Maybe you're a journaling type, or maybe you connect best through music or nature walks. There ain't no right or wrong way, long as you're opening your heart to God's presence. But here's the secret sauce, y'all, consistency. It's like baking a cake. One time in the oven ain't gonna cut it. You gotta show up day after day, even when you don't feel like it. Even when it feels dry or difficult, like you're just going through the motions. Trust me, those are the days God's working the most. Those are the days He's whispering the quietest, most powerful truths into your soul. And speaking of grace, let's talk about those days when you mess up, because let's face it, we all do. You sleep through your alarm, you forget your Bible verse, you get distracted by the dog eating your house shoes. It's okay. God gets it. He's seen it all. Just pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and start again tomorrow. No judgment, no condemnation, just grace upon grace upon grace. So there you have it, folks. My journey from lost and weary to found and free. And it all started with a simple commitment, 5 minutes a day with the Lord. Now I know what you might be thinking. Max, that's your story. But what about me? Can God really work in my life too? And to that I say, bless your heart, yes, 1,000 times, yes. That invitation Jesus gave all those years ago, it still stands. He's still calling out to you just like he called out to me. Look, I know it ain't always easy. Life's gonna throw you curveballs. You're gonna have days when you feel like giving up. Trust me, I've been there. But here's the thing. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to be perfect. All you gotta do is show up, one day at a time, one prayer at a time, one step at a time. Just keep your eyes on him and he'll lead you the rest of the way. Because here's the beautiful truth, y'all. When you make time for God, even just a little bit each day, something amazing happens. Your perspective shifts, your heart softens, your spirit comes alive. You start to see the world through eyes of faith, filled with hope and gratitude, even in the midst of life's storms. And that, my friends, is a game changer. That's the kind of transformation that can change your life forever. So, what are you waiting for? Come on, y'all. Let's embark on this journey together. Let's discover the incredible peace and joy that comes from walking hand in hand with the one who knows us best. This ain't just about reading the Bible or saying your prayers. It's about experiencing the love of God in a real, tangible way. It's about finding your hope, your strength, your purpose in the one who created you and loves you more than words can say. So come on in, friend. The door's open and the coffee's hot. Your journey to daily devotion starts today.